Hey Gear Nerds, it's Jake from AMS, and today I'm excited to be sitting down with the Nano Cortex from Neural DSP. If you don't know what that is, don't stress, there's no cranial implants required. What we have here is a fully featured amp and cab sim with multi-effects processing that's easy to use, sounds incredible, and fits on your pedal board or in your gig bag. But the coolest feature of the Nano Cortex is one that it shares with its big brother, the Quad Cortex, which is the ability to capture the sonic characteristics of any amp, speaker, or overdrive pedal. We'll get back to that later, so let's just go over what we have here on the unit. Across the top section here, we have gain, 3-band EQ, a level knob, and an amount, which reflects our effects section right here. And we also have some utility buttons for neural captures, saving presets, connecting to the app right here. And right here we have the bank button, which cycles through 5 sections of 5 neural captures, giving us a total of 25 on the pedal at any time. Of course, we could always assign more from the app. And the FX button scrolls through all of our available FX slots. You can see we have 2 pre and 3 post effects slots, which is the perfect amount of effects for any signal chain. So these dual fit switches out of the box are going to swap between a preset each, but they are also rotary encoders. So this one on the right is going to cycle through your IRs. This one on the left is going to go through the neural captures you have in the selected bank. So with that said, you have 4 presets loaded on the Footswitches at any time, but you could always access a lot more through the app like this. And let's just hear some of these presets. That one sounds great. And of course, we could edit any of these presets at any time, assign them to the pedal as we wish. So let's listen to some of the other presets here. Let's do lead 1 FX octaver. Let's also hear what a bass sounds like on some of these bass presets. And there seems to be some kind of room reverb on there. Let's take that off. That sounds pretty cool, and we can always go back to the pedal and change anything from the phone here, from the app. But more importantly, we can scroll down here, turn the reverb off from the pedal, and maybe we could put on, I don't know, the dark glass overdrive. So let's take a look at one of our presets here that we heard earlier. It's the Edge 80s preset. And when we scroll down, we could see all the details from our neural capture, which was a Princeton, down to the cab, 110 of the same Princeton amp, and all of our effects here, which we can easily control right from the app. So let's say I wanted a little bit less chorus, because that seems like a little too much for me. And it sounds great. We could also add 2 pre-effect slots, like a pitch block right here. Also sounds great. And if we want to add just a little bit of drive to that sound. So before we dive into neural captures, let's go over the I/O quickly. We have a mono input, stereo output, configurable MIDI or expression pedal input, headphone out with a volume control, USB-C, which you can use to power the pedal, and of course our combo jack capture input, which also has an input boost. The Nano Cortex also doubles as an audio interface that can record your Nano Cortex and DI tone simultaneously, which is great for the studio. When we want to do a neural capture, we need to use our right output for the capture output, so let's swap this out and get it set up for a neural capture. Alright, so I picked the Bad Cat Ocelot for our neural capture today because there are some great sounds in this amp that definitely aren't in the factory presets, and the built-in 2 notes Dyne IR output makes it really easy to capture. So I bypassed the cab sim on the last slot, and it has its own volume control, so it's really easy to set up for this capture. And all we need to do to start that neural capture is hit create neural capture, and it gives us all the steps we need, which I've already set up for us. And something to note about neural captures is this can capture the sonic characteristics of anything drive or gain based. So overdrive pedals, distortion, fuzz, obviously amp heads and cabs, but not anything having to do with time-based effects. So modulation, delay, reverb, pedals like that, you're not going to be able to capture on this. Like I mentioned before, I bypassed the cab sim on the Ocelot so we could use whatever IR we want on the Nano Cortex. And a very handy addition here in the app is we could actually turn on the IR loader. So we could listen to what it sounds like through, let's say, a 412 California cab. And you can see I actually have a little bit of extra headroom there, even with no input gain. I could turn the input gain up, but I have a DI level right here, so let's just bump that up. That sounds pretty good. Let's capture it and see how it sounds. And while this is capturing, we could add the name and all of the data for the capture. But if something goes wrong, or if the levels are too hot while it's capturing, it's going to come back and tell us we need to try again. So I just did everything on the neural capture through the app, but it's just as easy to do straight on the pedal using the gain and level knobs to set your input and output gain. And you just hit the capture button, and you don't even need the app connected. But my neural capture is ready. I've already typed in some of the data. And one of the coolest features, very underrated, is you can A/B compare the neural capture and the source, but you could set it to alternate, let's say, every 2 seconds. So it's going to automatically switch between the two, as you'll see, and I could just hear the difference. Sounds pretty good. All right, so that's a basic overview of what's possible with the Nano Cortex, but there's so much more. We only scratched the surface. There's MIDI and expression input that's easy to assign through the app, a community filled with amazing neural captures and presets, a fully featured USB interface for guitar, and more effects coming with future firmware updates. And as if to prove my point, Neural DSP just released an exciting new update for the Nano Cortex, which allows it to play V2 neural captures. There's a ton available on Neural DSP's cloud profile, but there's everything from touch responsive amps to high gain and fuzz. They also added a new tremolo effect and a ton of quality of life updates. So update now if you have one, and if you don't, head to americanmusical.com to get yours now.